Are we ready to go live? Let's do it. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's our live match preview. Excited. I am very excited. Will Pogba start? Who will play? How much are we going to beat Southampton by? But first of all, I just want to say, while I'm setting up the live comments, in fact, I shouldn't do that first. If you've been with us over the summer, there was a show in the summer where Richard Hill, who was been originally part of the United Stand, still a big part of it behind the scenes, a friend of his son, Tyler, has got cancer, and we'd mentioned on the show, we gave him a shout out. Fantastic news today. Rich has just sent us a message in the direct message to say that Tyler has nearly beaten cancer, which is absolutely fantastic. I know he will be watching, so big thumbs up from everybody on the United Stand. I know everybody will be giving you a big thumbs up, Tyler, and great news. Really, really great. Thanks for watching as well. Let's crack on. Brilliant. Preview. Old Trafford. It's going to go off like a bottle of pop. I can't wait. Jose, Zlatan, Pogba, Bailly, Mkhitaryan, their first real game at Old Trafford. The Old Trafford faithful are going to be behind them. There's no way we're going to lose this game against Southampton. We were convincing against Bournemouth, and I think we'll be convincing again, especially with what I think Old Trafford will become an absolute fortress now that we've got now that we've got Jose, who, as I was saying before on the live stream, I don't know whether anybody saw that he has got a ridiculous home record of 97% of his games at home he doesn't lose. So he only loses 3% of his home games. It is ridiculous. And as you can see, Tyler there, thankfully I've got the live comments up and you can see them flying up there. People want to comment now and give him a shout out. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, really, really pleased. Right, let's fly straight into it. This is the team that I think that Jose Mourinho will play on Thursday. I'll just leave it for a moment just so we can get some love for Tyler, because I know it will make a big difference to him. But as KJ Godham just said there, do you think Pogba will start? Well, I'm going to do my lineup, but we're wanting to change the concept of the show a little bit, trying to mix it up. We go interactive like this. This is the lineup that I think Jose Mourinho will play against Southampton on Friday night. De Gea in goal. Bailly and Smalling I expect to play. I think Smalling will make it back into the team. But I do not expect Pogba to play. I think it'll be Smalling and Bailly, Valencia and Shaw fullbacks. I think Fellaini, Herrera and Rooney will retain their positions in the midfield. And I think Mata will stay on the right, Martial on the left, Zlatan up front. So much the same. It's on the bench where it becomes a little bit more complex, because obviously Smalling and Pogba coming into play means two people have to miss out. Lingard's fit as well. So Rojo, Blind, obviously Romero, Carrick, Pogba, Mkhitaryan and Rashford on there. No Memphis is what I'm expecting. I think Pogba 100% will be on the bench. I think that's what Jose is going to do. I think he's not going to make too many changes. Some people could argue that why would you bring Smalling in? But I think he wants to send a statement out. This isn't my team, by the way, Venki2789. This is the team I think Jose will put out. I'm going to do mine very, very soon, so don't worry about that. This is what I think Jose will do. I think the only change he's going to make is Smalling coming in on instead of Blind, because I think Smalling and Bailly are going to be his first choice centre backs. And then on the bench is always interesting because the amount of players that are going to miss out. No Schneiderlin, no Memphis from Sunday. So this is the team that I think Jose will pick. I'm going to do mine in a minute. Let me take some of your comments. United will win 4-1, says Reese, or 3-2. No Blind, says Junior King. This is what I think Jose will do. This is what I think Jose will do. Memphis, yeah, looks quite accurate for Jose's team, says Blame the Pickle. I just think he's just going to change Smalling. And the reason I think he'll do that is because I think Smalling and Bailly are his first choice. And I think he rates Smalling, and Smalling only missed out for suspension. The reason I don't think he's going to pick Pogba is because I think Pogba is not fully fit. I think he's fit enough to play, but I don't think he'll play him in the game. I think also the impact of playing that same team at home against Southampton, you can give that team a chance. If they win the game in the first half, you bring the likes of Pogba and Mkhitaryan on again. If they're not, you bring them on and it gives a massive boost anyway. It's a win-win situation for Jose, and I do think that's the way he'll go with it. Live comments is frozen. Let's get that back working. So that's how I think Jose's line it up. Mark, don't you like Terry? John Terry doesn't play for us. I hate the tree, says MSTR Rashford. I think Fellaini will definitely start in a Mourinho side. Right, this is my side. No, it's not. Why have you left that up? That's from another video. There's my lineup. So, my lineup is slightly different. The chat has frozen. Don't worry, I've sorted that out, Mad Marcus. Pogba himself did say he's fit to play, Carrick fan, I know, but it's down to Jose whether he plays or not. And I just don't think he's going to change too much about the team apart from Smalling. Digest my team while I have a drink of water. So, I wouldn't change a hell of a lot, as you can see. I'm slightly different to Jose. I'd keep the same back four. I would keep Blind and Bailly. I was impressed with Blind. My midfield would change slightly though. It would be Pogba in, Fellaini out. My favourite substitution in the world. And I'd also bring Mkhitaryan in on the right instead of Mata. I repeat, this is my lineup. I think Jose will play Fellaini where Pogba is, and I think he'll play Mata where Mkhitaryan is. But look at my lineup. This is the potential team that I think we're working towards anyway. Look at that midfield, especially an attack. Pogba and Herrera as the dynamic midfield, Rooney number 10, Mkhitaryan on the right, Martial on the left, Ibrahimovic up front. That is sexy football. That is what Van Gaal should have been doing when he was talking about getting horny, because that gets me horny. Blind and Bailly, I would probably want Blind and Smalling, but I'm rewarding Blind because he played well last week. So that is the team that I would go with. And on the bench, I've never known a bench subs get so interesting as it is now for United. On my bench, I've got Romero, Smalling, Schneidlin, Carrick, Mata, Memphis and Rashford. So this isn't going to happen because I've totally kicked Fellaini out altogether. And it's not because I don't like Fellaini, which people know. It's just that I think that bench, I can't find a place for Fellaini on there because it's Smalling, Schneidlin, Carrick, Mata, Memphis, Rashford. I think that's an absolutely... I want to eat that bench. It's like it's made of chocolate eclair. It's a magnificent bench and it's a magnificent lineup. But it isn't the lineup that I think that Jose Mourinho is going to play, unfortunately. I just do not. Herrera is not a defensive midfielder, says Ricky Kiley, but we've got to adapt to what the team is. I was saying this on Fan TV last night, if you listen to me. We're Manchester United. I'd rather us play 11 Matas than 11 Fellainis because we need to be tall to defend corners. Sir Alex Ferguson never did that. We went out to beat the opposition. And when you look at that front three of Martial, Mkhitaryan and Zlatan and Rooney, Pogba and Herrera behind them, that is a team. And Valencia and Shaw bombing on. That's what we need to see on Friday night. Let's get at Southampton. Let's have a big go. Because if you play Fellaini, straight away you're saying we're going to try and defend the long ball. And it's going to be slow in the midfield. Let's get at them and let's go for it. And like I said, that bench is just to die for. It's absolutely superb. Score prediction says, please Mark, from Gareth McGinty. My score prediction, I forgot because I've done a Premier League predictions video for you in a Fantasy Premier League. You know, if you're in the Fantasy Premier League video, and you like the Premier League predicts, there's a video going up tomorrow, which I've literally just recorded. I can't remember what I went with. I think I went 2-0 to United. Yeah, I did. I went Manchester United 2, Southampton 0. And you know why? Because I think what we're going to see under Jose is convincing football from now on. Convincing results. And as I said, his stats at home and any club he's been is absolutely amazing. We will not lose on Friday. We will win the game on Friday. And I think we will do it convincing. And I think even if we don't start off well, the crowd will just be so up for it. It's going to be such a pressure cooker. And Southampton are under a new manager. It's not Koeman. I think we need to get at them from day one, which is why I would take Mata out. I'd take Fellaini out because they don't have the pace. And I would put Mkhitaryan and Pogba in, who are attacking players and they are quick players and they will get at Southampton. And the crowd will get behind that and the game could be over in the first half, which would be absolutely brilliant. 3-1, Zlatan, Martial and Pogba, says Tommy Herald. Mark the Jelly Bean, says Theo Baker. Fantasy Premier League code, I'll put it out. I'll put it on the video later. We tweeted it out a couple of days ago. What about Mkhitaryan? Well, I've got him in my lineup. Mfu, I suggest you go and do something with your time rather than insult people. Mkhitaryan, love comments stopped, buddy. Live comments are stopped again. Sorry about that. It's because I keep flicking between the scores. So, I would start Pogba. I would start Mkhitaryan. But I don't think that's what Jose's going to do. I think he's going to play Fellaini. And I think he's going to pick the same team as last week, apart from, I think he'll probably bring Smalling in for Blind, and that'll be the only change. I think Pogba's going to be on the bench, and I think Memphis will move out of the bench. But it's a long, big season. And remember, another thing to factor in is Lingard's fit. He might take Mata out and put Lingard in, which to me is sad because you've just bought Mkhitaryan and he should play him. But I've no doubts about it. I don't think it's going to matter too much what team we put out on Friday, because I just think the crowd, the atmosphere, the spectacle will drive United on. I expect even the likes of Rooney will have a good game, because I was saying to somebody this, I think it was on Fan TV again last night. People said, "Oh, is Rooney going to flop?" I don't think. How can you flop when you've got Paul Pogba behind you, you've got Mkhitaryan on your right, Martial on your left, and Zlatan up front? I mean, I think I'd score goals in that team. I really do, because there's so much talent around. It's a shame if he does. He needs to either get going or he's going to be carried, and you can't carry a number 10. So I hope Rooney does start playing well. I think he will play well on Friday. I don't think that's the problem solved. One swallow doesn't make a summer, unless it's a good swallow. I'm talking about birds, flying ones. But keep an eye on Rooney, we know about that. Let's take some of your comments. Pogba party, 7-0 win, says Dare to Memphis. Doesn't matter, nice joke, Mark. I'd love the matter jokes. It's the same team then if there is any changes, says Robert Burns. Well, I can just go back. This is what I think, for those who are joining us late, this is the team that I think Jose will put out. As I said, I think the only change is going to be Smalling and then slight deviations on the bench. But I think Fellaini will play, and I think Mata will play, or potentially Lingard. I mean, the thing is, Lingard comes into the equation. He's not on the bench there. Takes Mata's place. That's another player off the bench. We've got such a big squad at the moment, which is good in a way. But as you can see, that's the Jose lineup. And then the slight change with mine is that I take Mata off the right and put Mkhitaryan in, put Mata on the bench. I put Pogba in the midfield and take Fellaini out altogether. And I'd still play Blind and Bay because I thought they played really, really well. Tactics, says Top Compo Gaming. Very, very good point. Southampton, hard to know what Southampton are like. They're a good footballing side. But I didn't really, they won last week, didn't they? They won 1-0, did they? Or did they draw? I think they drew, didn't they? Somebody will tell me. I should know that. But they're under a new manager, so I don't expect to see the same Southampton as last week. They're quite strong defensively, as we know. We're linked to Fonte and Van Dijk. But I think we've got to use the flanks. We've got to start using the flanks. Tactically, if you want one lesson that I would say that we didn't do last week, if you remember the Bournemouth game around minute 9, 10 or 11, Valencia put a hanging cross in. It was over Zlatan's head, but he absolutely poleaxed their defender and gave him a message. And it was a bit like Leicester in the week before. You put crosses in, and because Zlatan's so big and good in the air, it causes them problems. We never put a cross in again after that 10th minute. It's absolutely unforgivable. What we've got to start doing is using the flanks like United always used to, and putting decent ball into the box, which is what Mkhitaryan can do, which is why I would play him. Mata can't do it. Lingard's not that good at it, but Mkhitaryan can. We need to start putting balls in the box, which means we need to get Shaw and Valencia bombing on and put the ball in the box, whether it's high, low or whatever. Put it in high, Zlatan's there. Any knocks downs, you've got the likes of Pogba, who's tall as well, Rooney, even Fellaini if he's playing. But one other thing I would say as well is, and I said this on the watch along and I hope I'm not saying it again, I've said it all pre-season, all last season, we don't use the left side. We always use the right side. And the reason we use the right side is because Rooney likes to do his signature Hollywood pass out to Valencia, in the air or along the floor, 30 yards, and he's happy. And it's always Rooney's first thing, I'm going to the right. Yeah, Valencia's decent down the right, but he hasn't got a right winger in front of him until Mkhitaryan plays. With down the left, you've got perfect balance between whether it's Memphis or Martial, and Luke Shaw's brilliant. We're not using the left. We're not putting the balls into the box. That is what I would be saying to Manchester United if I was in charge. Get down the flanks, use the left. It's so obvious we're going to use the right all the time, and every time you give it Mata, he comes inside. So Valencia is getting a lot of assists at the moment, but that's because we're only going down the right. We need to start using the left. Martial had to get into the game by coming centrally in that 10 to 15 minute period that won us the game on Sunday. But let's start using the left, especially Luke Shaw. He looks like the same old Luke Shaw for me. So why Mourinho can't make the changes you were talking about, says Mark Martino 999. We start talking tactics, people say, oh, you're not the manager, this, that and the other, what do you know? But you get a lot of good fan opinion, and a lot of people, when we do the watch-alongs, I always say, get on the live comments during the game and tell us about what you think's happening tactically, and we have a discussion about it. And loads of fans know about football. Don't fall into the trap that just because somebody's paid lots to manage your club that they know everything about football. We've seen that with Van Gaal, we've seen it with Moyes. We're Manchester United fans, we know what players we've got, we know the way the club works. To me, it's bloody obvious we need to be putting at least 3 to 5 good crosses into the box every game, because Zlatan will get on the end of at least one of them. If you're only putting one cross in, then what are the chances? You've got to use that. He's got other assets to the game, so you've got to use that. And also, when you're playing an opposition, you've got to make them think. If we're always going to down the right, which we have been, it's appalling it's unforgivable for a top class team to be so predictable. Use the left. Our left is probably stronger than our right, to be honest, because Valencia's doing well, but ahead of him, what's he got at the moment? I think when Mkhitaryan goes there, the balance will balance out. But I think Shaw and Martial are far more of a threat than Valencia and Mata, and I want to see us balance it out. But again, it comes down to the number 10 problem. Rooney at the moment, his first touch is off and his short passing is off and the ball's breaking down around him. But the one thing he does do is switch the play quite well, but it's exclusively to the right. We need to get it to the left. That is what I would be saying. Illuminathan, Mark, remember last week when you said Fellaini will never start? Well, you know what? I would never start him. Head over to United Stand's Facebook page and give it a like. Don't forget to help us grow. Like, comment and share. That's from Dave Polton. Mata should not be playing on the right, says Cameron Matthews. He shouldn't. He should be playing number 10. I'm quite surprised that we're doing these not specialists in specialist positions again. Lynn Hall, we need to go much more flighted crosses in the air for Ibra. Only Valencia's doing it at the moment. Martial always cuts inside. Need to stretch the defence more. Exactly. We need to put more balls into the box. 100%. Good point from Nick Pasquet. Why are pundits so easy on Rooney? It's the big Rooney question again, isn't it? Always divides opinion. The pundits are very, very easy on Rooney, but I think it just comes down to they're his mate, aren't they? They're his mate. I've never heard a pundit have a go at Rooney, and I don't even think it's a bad thing to do it. Danny Murphy last week said he was superb. Said Rooney was superb on the Bournemouth highlights. I mean, I don't know. That's just ridiculous. It's just fellow Scouse code. I don't know. Ferdinand, Rio, you know, he comes out with some good stuff. He comes out with some rubbish stuff, but he always backs Rooney. Wazza. I'm doing a vlog with Wazza. Maybe that's why, because they don't want to upset their mate. I suppose that's the great thing about the fan channels, because it's not just us who saying it how it is. You know, Rooney, I think he will get better. I think there's one manager in world football who can get the best out of him, and it's Jose. If he can't do it, nobody can. So I think he will do it. But what you can't escape with Rooney, whether you love him or not, is that for the last 2 years, he's been very, very poor. By his standards, it's a compliment to say he's been very, very poor, because I know he's better than that. I think saying to somebody today, Rooney, for me, the press and the media are just not making an issue of it, which makes his life a lot easier than it should be. I'd rather they were getting on his back, because I think we'd see a better Rooney, because he'd be more spurred on and he wouldn't be saying I'm happy with the way I'm playing. But I think it's a crucial month, because if he carries on playing like that, then you know, Jose's not blind to it, I'm sure. But I've got a funny feeling he'll play well on Friday night, to be fair. 1,000 likes, Mark takes his shirt off. Yeah, there's only 900 of you watching, so even if you all hit like now, I promise you I will take my top off, but we won't get 1,000 likes, so that's safe. Dev Dadarka says pundits are easy on Rooney because they've either seen him be a great player or watched him be a great player for many years, so they've got a bias. Yeah, that's probably a good point. He is on the decline. I didn't believe it last year, but he is. Should leave next season, says KJ Damon. Liam Ricketts says Martial is rubbish. Yeah, whatever. Syed Aiden says, Mark, is it weird for us to play 4-4-2 nowadays with Rooney and Zlatan up front, Pogba and Herrera in the two midfields? 4-4-2, we had this argument last year because people said Leicester play 4-4-2. They don't. Vardy's up on the last man and there's one dropping off into the midfield. You can't play a conventional two up front now like we used to with York and Cole. You just can't do it because you get overrun in the midfield if you've got width. You know, the days of Keane and Scholes running a midfield on their own, it's impossible now. You've got to get somebody dropping into the midfield. Zlatan and Rooney were exchanging that role a bit against Bournemouth. That's fine, but you can't play two up front on their own. Drew Key thinks that Rooney's in terminal decline. Update on Barbosa, says Lamb Chops. Transfer news, nothing really. Fabinho, there was some rumours from Marca that we're trying to sign him. I do think that will happen. Barbosa, his agent has denied it, but Brazil have just got to the Olympic final. But I think the best transfer news I've heard very recently is Riyad Mahrez has just signed a new 4-year contract. I mean, Arsenal just can't sign anybody. It's fantastic. And they're playing Leicester on Saturday. And I think in my predictions, I went that Arsenal will beat Leicester on Saturday lunchtime, Saturday tea time. But it's still brilliant that Vardy and now Mahrez have totally and utterly snubbed them. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Rooney was so arrogant in his interview, says Nick Pasquet. Well, you know what? We've got to get behind the team. I think that performance is gone. We're excited about Friday. We've got every right to be excited. I can't wait that Pogba's available. I'm hoping we'll see more of Mkhitaryan. Zlatan will obviously start. But it's a home game. What I would say is that people should not be performing badly at home with the amount of quality we've got and the amount of atmosphere there's going to be there on Friday night. I expect everybody to play well, and I expect us to be positive afterwards and over the weekend with 6 points, which is a great start. I think, you know, the Rooney dilemma will probably start again away at Hull, where it's an away game and he might not be mentally on it, but we'll just have to see. Sudden increase in likes, but you're not going to get 1,000, so that's great. Brilliant. Absolutely love that show. Really enjoying the previews. On a serious note, this was Jose's team, as in case you didn't see it. No change apart from Smalling, and this was my team. Pogba in instead of Fellaini, Mkhitaryan instead of Mata. That was mine. This is how we're going to do previews from now on. Last year we used to do the preloaded ones, pre-records. We're trying to be more live. We're trying to be more interactive. If you do like these sort of videos, drop us a like, because we're going to try and do these every Wednesday night from now on at 8:30. The weekend preview, live, interactive, flicking between the screens and everything, talking a bit about tactics. I really enjoyed it. So drop us a like if you like this new concept. And we will be live Friday night from 7 o'clock. It's the watch along, isn't it? The watch along to watch. Yeah, I can't wait for it. Old Trafford, great crowd. We're going to beat Southampton. I think we're going to see... The great thing is it was a superb result against Bournemouth, and it was 3 points. But the performance as a team was a bit blunt. With every game, it's going to get better and better and better. And I expect tomorrow, on Friday, it will get better. The reason I keep saying tomorrow is because I'm off after tomorrow. I'm off on Friday. I've got a day off. So I'm in a good mood. I keep thinking it's Thursday. But yeah, I like the concept of this. I love the interaction with the live comments board. If you do like this concept, we're going to keep doing it. If it's worked out right, we should be giving a shout out on our new Tiki Taka for our latest patrons. I think there was 5 over the last few days. You can contribute to the United Stand through the Patreon link in the video description, and we've got some great rewards. Actually, some new ones have gone up tonight to try and get that promoted and get you more involved. So thanks everybody. Absolutely. Somebody said we've got 900 likes. I haven't got on my screen there's only 383, but yeah, you need 600 more. But really enjoyed it. I really enjoy doing these previews. I think it's great, and it's not always brilliant. I like having guests on, but the number one guest for me is always you guys, and I think it's great to be able to have that live comments bombing up and down like that. So great. And as you can see there, we've got a FIFA 7. I don't know whether people like this. Have seen FIFA 17. FIFA 17's out very soon. We're going to be doing something on the United Stand because there's loads of FIFA players now part of the United Stand panelists, and I know a lot of you are always messaging me, can we have a game with you? Go to the Patreon page, get involved in that. But we've got a new FIFA 17 as soon as it comes out. We've got some brilliant ideas around that because Dan, Joey, Alex, Rix, me, we all like playing FIFA, and we've got a good split. Some of us are on PS4, some of us on Xbox, so there's always going to be somebody to get involved in. Thanks everybody. I think that'll do for tonight. We'll have a video out for you tomorrow night, and please join the watch along 7 o'clock UK time Friday, and now before the game, getting excited and then live all the way through it. Joel Clayton says he loves a bit of bumming, but really I can't wait. I'm so excited. I really can't wait for Friday. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all very soon.